Bulls Nation, off of yet again another back-to-back. Today we first one of the best teams in the NBA in the Utah Jazz, who are playing historic basketball at this point in time and ultimately have the best record in the league. With that being said, the Chicago Bulls did try in this game to try and get a victory over the Utah Jazz, but the superiority in majority of the ways that we play the game of basketball did come into factor in this game. And unfortunately, the best of the best teams are very difficult to beat, and the Chicago Bulls were just not up to the task today. So let's discuss the Chicago Bulls versus the Utah Jazz in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Utah Jazz game reaction. The Chicago Bulls worked off of yet again another back-to-back. It feels like nearly every single game that we have is off of a back-to-back, but this time around they versed one of the best teams in the Utah Jazz, record-wise and definitely through their play style, and the Chicago Bulls simply could not match up with a team that is arguably one of the best in the NBA. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the way the Chicago Bulls played today, and what do you guys think about the future of this team after a loss like this. The score for the Chicago Bulls was a 120-95 loss. The Chicago Bulls played very well in the first quarter, but outside of that, was dominated in nearly every single way. And the Chicago Bulls simply just could not handle a top quality side within the Utah Jazz. There are many things we could talk about in terms of this game. The first few things I want to get out of the way is I want to say I'm very happy to see Joe Noah back in the United Center. That's something that we did see in today's game. Probably the highlight of the game, to be honest, was seeing him watching this game. Unfortunately, it was a bad game to watch for him. But I'm sure he wouldn't mind as much knowing that he's probably going to be retiring as a Bull pretty soon. Probably that day that we saw it today. So a great thing to see. And he did look very happy to be there. And of course, I'm happy to see him there. And that was great to see him watching the Chicago Bulls. And let's see what happens with that. That's going to be a very, very, very good day for him if he retires as a Chicago Bull. Other than that, there were a few positives out of this game. We got a lot of points in the paint, a lot more than the Utah Jazz. We got around 58 or 60 points in the paint. Probably could have even been more by the time the game ended. And the big negative is that the three-point shot for the Bulls tonight was shockingly bad. We only made 5 three-pointers, I believe, or 6 three-pointers that entire game, which is not good enough to beat a team like the Utah Jazz. Another positive, I don't believe we had too many turnovers in today's game. I think we had around 10. I'm not too sure about that one, to be honest, but at the end of the day, that is definitely a much better performance on the turnover end than what we usually see from the Chicago Bulls. So that is something that we could be positive about as well. But overall, we were just outmatched by a better team. At the end of the day, we talk a lot about how the Chicago Bulls are a fantastic team, or a good team, not a fantastic team. We're a good team. We're a decent team. We're a team that beats the teams that we should beat, but we're also a team that can't beat the top teams. And looking at the stat at the very beginning of the game, if you guys watched this game, you must have saw this stat as well. The Chicago Bulls are 0-10 against teams with above 500 record. At the time we versed them, of course. And we are, I think, 8-0 against teams under 500 at the point of when we versed them, which is a bizarre stat to see. So basically, every team under 500, when we verse them, we seem to beat comfortably, but against the good teams, we seem to lose every single one. And we compete in a lot of those games as well, which is why that's a very frustrating stat to see, that we have not beaten one above 500 record team at the time that we versed them. Or I'm pretty sure that was the stat. And again, that's a frustrating stat to look at. But again, it's a stat that's very well known around the Chicago Bulls. We know that we can't beat the good teams. We know that we struggle against teams like that. It's just frustrating to see that not one of those games we've won. And this is just another one you can add to that list. We did not win this game, and we just got outclassed by a better team. That's all I could really say. That's all I could really say. I can come onto this video, be very upset and rant about the Chicago Bulls, but at the end of the day, this is a game that I expected to pretty much go the way that it went. I expected this game to be a very difficult one for the Chicago Bulls. I expected this game to be a game where we would lose. And that's what happened. So I'm not going to come here and rant about the Bulls because I expected this in nearly every single way today. So that's just how it is, unfortunately. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to cry about it. It is what it is. The Utah Jazz are better than the Bulls, and that is something you have to take on the chin. What I want to see is the Chicago Bulls learn from this. I want to see the Chicago Bulls ball movement in today's game. I want to see them learn from the Utah Jazz's ball movement. I want them to learn from the Utah Jazz's shot selection. I want to see them learn from the Utah Jazz's defense, interior defense, perimeter defense. I want to see the Chicago Bulls learn from a game like this because every single game against a top opposition is a learning experience. And to be honest, we are in very similar situation as the Utah Jazz, especially when they were on the rising up, like what the Chicago Bulls are this season. Not too long ago, the Utah Jazz was a team that was struggling to make the playoffs. They had all this young talent, but couldn't find the connection or to be able to gel together. And it took a lot of time for the Utah Jazz to perform the way they're performing this season. And it just shows that we shouldn't be giving up on our young players at this point in time. The Utah Jazz is a perfect example. Now, we might not have a player that's better than Rudy Gobert in the center position. We might not have a player that is better than Donovan Mitchell at this point in time. But we are in a very similar situation to what they were a few years ago. So I don't think this game should be let's trade everybody type of game. The trade deadline's coming up. We do have decisions to make on that end. But I still have a lot of faith in these young players because I see teams like the Denver Nuggets. I see teams like the Utah Jazz. I see teams like the Golden State Warriors on their come up, having these young upcoming players that weren't supposed to be what they were and develop into a dynasty type team. The Utah Jazz are slowly making their way to be a very good, respectable, and contending team in the NBA. So they deserve a lot of the praise they get. And this just shows that the Chicago Bulls shouldn't give up on the young players just yet, in my opinion. That's all I really have to say in retrospect to this game. We can look into the box score. I'm not going to name too many players. I might even just scroll through it, to be honest, because I don't really see the points in going further into it. We didn't have a terrific game, and it's going to show in the box score. Zach LaVine, 27 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. Zach LaVine needs help. That's basically it. We have a lot of young guys on this team, and we have a lot of veterans, but we don't have enough people to help Zach LaVine on a consistent basis. We need another scoring option on this team. At the end of the day, we've been looking for a long time of a second scoring option, an option that will give the Chicago Bulls multiple ways to score, variety. We have very good talented scorers. Larry Markkinen is a terrific offensive talent. Patrick Williams, in my opinion, will become a terrific offensive talent. You have the likes of Thaddeus Young and Satoransky that are veterans and know how to score the ball. Kobe White is an elite offensive talent, but the talent and potential of this team can only go so far. This season, the Chicago Bulls need to help Zach LaVine, and we still don't know who that second option on the team is. Who's going to be that next guy to score 20 points in a game? We see that on basis. We see sometimes Kobe White get into the 20-point mark, Larry Markkinen get into the 20-point mark, but we just don't see enough out of either of those guys to become a second option. So yes, we need more help for the Chicago Bulls, and we're just not getting it out of a lot of our players. But Zach LaVine is doing his thing, and I feel sorry for him that he's not getting that help. But as long as he can keep that up, maybe that help will come within another season. Maybe it will come within the week. Who knows? Who really knows what the Chicago Bulls are going to be thinking about? But we do need a little bit more help for Zach LaVine. I think that's very clear. Larry Markkinen, 8.7 rebounds. I don't think Larry Markkinen had a great game today. I know he got a near double-double, but again, if you're the second option on this team, to actually not have a great scoring game, I think it was, 2-3 from 12 or something like that. A very, very, very bad offensive game for Larry Markkinen scoring-wise. His rebounding was fine. There was a time in this game where he got multiple offensive rebounds and he just couldn't get the ball into the hoop. So Again, I don't think Larry Marketing had a terrific game, and I think he needs to do a lot better than that. It's frustrating because just the game before, he had 16 points and 8 rebounds. He had a much better game the game before, last time out against the Detroit Pistons. And again, I know the caliber of the team is much different, but consistency needs to be a factor in this team. We need to find a consistent scoring option for this team outside of just Zach LaVine. And Larry Marketing, as good of a talent as he is, he's not proving to be that guy. So something else we need to look into. Thaddeus Young, 14 points, 2 assists, 9 rebounds. It's the same old with Thaddeus Young, playing very, very, very good basketball. Again, he was basically put onto Rudy Gobert for a lot of this game, and the fact that he got 14 points, where Rudy Gobert nearly had a triple-double with 9 blocks in this game, I thought Thaddeus Young played very, very well. I think he could do it better than this, to be honest. I really do, but he has played well, and he's played like this consistently, and that's all you can ask for from a pro like Thaddeus Young, consistency. And he's the guy that you would look to if you want to find consistency, because as good as Zach LaVine is, as good as Larry Marketing is, Kobe White is, he's the future of the team, whether we want it to be or not. This looks like that future. Thaddeus Young is that guy to be the most consistent player on the team. Satoransky, 13 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. An okay night for Satoransky in my eyes. 30 minutes he played. Yeah, I thought he played okay. That's all I could really say. I thought he played all right. He was definitely one of the better players on the team today, because no one else really outside of Satoransky, Young, and LaVine had terrific games. So that's something else we need to look into. And that's really about it. I mean, I could talk about Kobe White as well. He had 10 points, but that's all I'm really going to mention in this game. I don't think everybody else really had a terrific time in this game. One other person I will mention that I'm very worried about, Wendell Carter, who in the last game got poked in the eye by Otto Porter Jr. and missed the rest of the game. Now it looks like he has some sort of shoulder issue and he went out for the rest of the game. So hopefully this is just a one-game basis. We don't see another month out for Wendell Carter. Otherwise, time's ticking. Time is ticking. We can only live with so much injury. Same with Larry Marketing, same with Wendell Carter. These guys can't keep getting injured. And I know it's not his fault. At the end of the day, he can't be blamed for Rudy Gobert, and I forgot who the other guy was, sandwiching him and hitting him in the throat. You can't blame Wendell Carter for that, but unfortunately, if that's what's going to keep him out, it's very frustrating to see that. So I feel very sorry for Wendell Carter. I really did think he had a good game prior to what happened to him, and I hope he can stay healthy, because at the end of the day, our bench has been trash, to be honest, since we made those changes, but Wendell Carter has been our best bench player. Might not be by much, but so far he has been our best bench player. So I really want to see him back and ready to play for the Chicago Bulls. Because if we lose Wendell Carter off of that bench, who do we really have on that bench? The answer is we don't have much. So that's all I can really say on that fact. And that's the team I'm going to discuss. The must improve. I mean, where can I start? I can start with a lot of people, to be honest. I think today I'm going to target Otto Porter. He had 20 points, and he only had 2 points and 2 rebounds, or 2 assists. So at the end of the day, look, I could target a bunch of people. You could target Ryan Arcidiacono. You could target Denzel Valentine. Ryan Arcidiacono kept fouling the 3-point shooters today. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ryan Arcidiacono's game today. Denzel Valentine played 16 minutes and only had 2 points. Otto Porter played 20 minutes, only had 2 points. Kobe White played 23 minutes, 10 points. I just don't know at this point. I really don't know. You could target anybody you like, and it'd probably be a valid reason. So, yeah, and that was really all that I had to discuss on this game, to be honest. That's pretty much everything I needed to say. The player of the game is Zach LaVine. I think that's fairly simple. It's not really too hard to comprehend. It is Zach LaVine. It is what it is. He is that guy at the moment for the Chicago Bulls, and I think he needs a little bit more help. And until we get him that help, we're going to be seeing us losing to very good teams, but us beating rather bad teams. And that's just how our season has gone all season, and that's where I see it continuing. The Bulls' record is 19-23. Yeah, I think this was a well-expected loss. I think most people knew that this game was going to be a very tough game. I think most people knew this team was going to be a very tough team. I think most people knew that this was probably going to be a loss for the Chicago Bulls. Like I said in the last video, I wouldn't put my money on beating the Utah Jazz. And I would say that for any team, most likely at this point. But especially for a team like the Chicago Bulls that haven't won against the top team yet. It is a struggle at the moment for the Chicago Bulls, and we have a lot of tough teams to come. So that record of 0-10 against top teams has to change. Otherwise, we will be down in the dumps by the time that April, May comes around. We will be down in the dumps with the amount of teams, good teams that we have left to face. And the next game for the Chicago Bulls is against the Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe. Now, this game is going to be a very interesting game for multiple reasons. One, the trade deadline. By the time that game against the Cavs happens, we will be 1 day away from that trade deadline. So we will truly understand the team that both the Cleveland Cavaliers will have and the Chicago Bulls will have. I believe the Chicago Bulls are trying to get some trades happening. It's all about whether one of those trades will get pushed through. I heard that we traded for Lonzo and it got declined. So in the end, the Bulls are trying to do something. But trying is a whole different thing to getting it done. So let's see what the front office will do, and let's see the decisions that will be made, and let's see what team we have by the Cleveland Cavaliers game. We've got a few days until that game happens. So I would say be ready, because anything can happen. It is heating up. There is a lot to talk about, and there are multiple people in trade talks. So it's definitely not going to be a quiet few days for the Chicago Bulls, but maybe in the end the result will remain the same. We'll have the same team and we'll be doing the exact same of what we've been doing all season. Early time's gonna tell, but I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Once again, I just feel deflated. I really know that this was a loss that I expected, but even watching your team lose and you expect them to lose still doesn't feel terrific. It still doesn't feel great. I don't feel angry because I just knew this was going to happen, to be honest, but I don't feel particularly great either. At the end of the day, I never want to see my team lose, but sometimes, especially when you're not at the level of a team like the Utah Jazz, you kind of expect it. So what I want to see is the Bulls learn from the Utah Jazz. I hope that they're watching film constantly about the Utah Jazz and how they play and implement a lot of what they do into our team, because we are very similar to them with not really that much better talent than them. They have terrific talent. We have young upcoming players. We're not at that level yet, but if you learn from a team like the Utah Jazz, maybe one day we will get to that level, and only time's going to tell when that will be. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in another video. Take care and peace.